Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is BCT Webster, and today we'll be talking about Black Clover Chapter 235. Again, quick reminder this video will contain spoilers, so if you haven't read the chapter, I strongly urge you to do so. So, if you have already read this chapter or just don't care about spoilers, let's begin. So, this chapter begins where the last chapter left off. Juno just received word that the Golden Dawn base was under attack, and right here we see him quickly rushing to their aid. The Ralph is subject, tells him to tries to stop him, tells him don't go. Like if somebody broke that easily into the Clover Kingdom, it's probably the Dark Triad. But just ignores him and he goes like, no, I'm vice captain of the Golden Dawn. And he just rushes over there and with using his wind magic, his little eagle that he makes, while Ralph is like, Master no, like running, doing all that. So yeah, nothing really interesting there. We just see being headstrong. He still doesn't really take the whole he's royalty to heart. To him he's still Clover Kingdom Magic Knight. And yeah, so that's something very admirable about him, in my opinion. Despite him always kind of looking down on Asta because of the rivalry and everything, he's still pretty humble. He still considers himself, citizen of the Clover Kingdom. He's a Magic Knight and he needs to protect his people, and that is admirable. Which I think later on, if he does take up the mantle of royalty, it's gonna be something really good, a real breath of fresh air to all the other royals that we've seen. So the chapter then cuts back to the Golden Dawn base. Everybody there is shocked to see the Spade Kingdom's mages, and they decide to attack. The guy who calls out the attack tells them focus all their attacks on one target at once. And boy, from the way it was drawn, it looks very impressive. Like this huge, powerful magic attack will converge on the Spade Kingdom, the Spade Kingdom mages, and then the Kingdom mages are not even phased with it. They come out of it without even a scratch on them. They even seem disappointed. Like they heard that the Golden Dawn had the strongest magic knights in the Clover Kingdom, and they didn't even itch. Like that attack didn't even give him an itch. Barely gave him an itch. I think that's what one of the mages says. Like, oh, that's itchy. But nothing, not a scratch, not even phased, and we see that right here we focus on the two Spade Kingdom mages. One of them is really burly. He looks like he has some kind of rock magic, and then the other one it's really skinny, and he has like these dead eyes. Like it looks like his skin is decaying almost. I don't know what's up with that guy, and we don't really see his magic in action here. Like I'm wondering what his whole role is on this, and I'm more interested by the skinny guy than the big guy, because the big guy just seems like a burly meathead, thinks he's all that. But I feel like there's some more complexity to a quiet guy. We'll see. And apparently their names are Pitch Darkness Apostle and the Dark Disable. I don't know, like it's weird. Like there's a very early translation, so I'm still kind of holding off on what the real names is. But I'm calling the big guy the Darkness Apostle and the skinny guy Dark Disable for now. Maybe once we get the official release, like we'll see what their actual names are. But yeah, like the Darkness Apostle, the big guy, he starts talking about how, they, because of their sorry, that they are on the 0 level. And if you guys remember from the Heart Kingdom, The queen kind of has like they over there they have this this scale that goes from I think it's from 9 to 0, and the lower the number, the higher the the stronger your magic is, and rank 0 is the highest. That's what they say. Like that's where demons or devils are ranked as, and these guys are just backup. They're not the main guys. They're the backup to the main guy, and they're already at level 0. So kind of gives you a bit of an idea how strong these people are. So, and that's something I want to, kind of this whole thing, this whole little exchange kind of made me think about something. So the first thing is, as soon as they get this attack and they're faced by it, the Golden Dawn members are immediately like in disbelief, and they're like frozen up. They it looks like they have no more hope, and they're falling into despair. And that always kind of bugged me. They have no grit. They just give up. And I understand why they have this. Like they have this inflated sense of grandeur, especially if they're like nobles or royalty. That anytime something doesn't go their way, they just freeze up. They don't know what to do. We see this. With Mimosa's older brother. We see this with the other two Silva, the sister and the brother, when they get attacked by the elves. As soon as things don't, like, they feel like they're, top dog, and as soon as they realize they're not, like, they just fall apart. And I think, I'm hoping that this arc becomes a real eye-opening for them, because even with the elves, even though they were outnumbered, the elves were still being embodied by their own knights, so they could kind of rationalize, like, oh, like, they're magic knights also, and, whatever. But these are devils, and they're already kind of scared of the devils, because they see him as this threat. But now, when it actually gets into the Clover Kingdom, then it'll be really eye-opening, and I hope they change. I hope they change their way of thinking, because we've seen, some royals kind of start to have that change. I want to see more grit, like, Asta or Sora. I like that grit. So I'm hoping it kind of, this because starts becoming a big of a of a changing moment for the, not just the Golden Dawn, but like just all Magic Knights in general. Okay, so right after that, back to the story. So then a high-ranking member, what I'm assuming is a high-ranking member of the Golden Dawn, closes in on the two Spade Mages to do a close-up attack, and the big burly one, the Darkness Apostle, he just looks at him and he's like, "Oh, you have rock magic too." And then he just one shots him with like a big rock fist, like immediately takes him out. And he's like, "Yeah, you're too slow." And then he just starts rampaging. He just starts running wild and using his magic, taking out Golden Dawn members left and right. And as he's doing so, he's talking about how the power of demons, makes how they're the power of the demons, not the demons, the devil demons, whatever. It augments their magic to like a whole different level. And he says that a space sergeant can release about 5%. And I think as the Spade Kingdom mage that Asa took out a few chapters ago, like the big dog, I think he was a sergeant. And they're saying that he could release about 5% of that power himself. And then he says, but I can release up to 40%. And then he goes on to say, by Xenon, who is possessed by a demon or a devil, can release up to 80%. So right here, like as I'm reading this, I'm kind of trying to power scale everything in my head, and it's kind of weird. So okay, so the way that Darkness Apostle one shot it and took out everybody else, it's around the same way that Asta took everybody else. everybody out and a few chapters ago. So I'm kind of thinking like, is that where kind of Asta stacks up right now, like up to his level, or maybe it was just the fact that Asta's power is anti magic, and that's just something hard to get around if you have magic, because he could just easily nullify it and everything. But the other thing, like the thing that kind of threw a monkey wrench into this is that it's they kind of it kind of implied that Xenon, who could release up to 80% of that power, is possessed by the demon clan. Like he has like some devil or demon inside him, and that's exactly what Asta does too. He has a devil inside him. We've seen snippets of the demon kind of trying to take control or like helping Asta. So I'm wondering, like, is the has Asta, can he release even more power? Like, is that what's been going on as he's been growing? Like, he's been able to control more and release more and more of that demon power. But then that also brings a question. Okay, so Xenon and Asta, they can release this demonic power, these weird powers, because they have a demon, inside of them. But what about these other guys? Because we kind of get a hint that forbidden magic has to do with the demon realm. So is it forbidden magic itself, or do they have some kind of contract with the demon clan that they give them a bit of their power, or something? Like, I want to know the mechanics of this demon power that increases their magic, and then takes their magic to a whole new level. I've seen something very interesting, and I think it will play a major part on how these magic knights, who are supposed to be crazy strong already, that have no shot against these overpowered, demon powered, mages, how they get that power. I think that might play a role in how they might even out the playing field in the future. So again, so back to the story. So as he's saying that, we see that Xenon has moved on ahead, while Darkness Apostle is rampaging. He moved on ahead to find William, and finally we get confirmation that William Vangeance did stay as captain after the whole else incident. I still kind of want to know, like, what was his penance, but we do see that he's still captain. And Xenon gets there's like, you are Golden Dawn's captain, Sir William Vangeance. And before he can respond or Xenon can attack, we see Sandler, interject and get between them and say, go like, don't you dare approach Sir Vengeance. And William Vengeance, being who he is as a captain, we've already seen what kind of captain he is. He's like, Sandler, back off, please don't get involved. But Sandler goes on to say that, it's my duty to protect you, and I had to take him down as a magic knight. And one thing that he does say that is interesting, he's like, if I am the only elf left. And that's kind of weird that he's identifying himself as an elf. Again, this is an early translation. Maybe it says something different. But from what I remember back earlier when they released Luck from the whole curse when he was being possessed by the elf, is that even though the elf went away, he still retained that, not so much the mana, but he was able to harness that level of mana, that level of magic still after the elf left, because it was more like, oh, I remember how it felt like, so I can do it now, kind of thing. So I'm feeling that a lot of Magic Knights got a huge power boost because of it, and it seems that he's the last one standing from there. So Sandler, makes this huge armored magic thing to attack, Xenon, and almost immediately, Xenon uses magic and goes through. Is some spikes go through the huge through Sandler's spell, and they impale him. He's surprised, like, this magic is, and like he can't even get the words out, like it's overwhelming. And the spikes just keep driving more and more, and that's when Vangeance uses his World Tree magic. It's Demon's Fratinus Tree to stop the spikes in their tracks so they don't keep advancing. And that's where we see Vangeance's overprotective personality, because he has always really cared about his you know his magic knights from his squad. And it's like he tells him, whoever it is, I can't forgive them for hurting my members. And we see Xenon just completely ignores him. He's like, this is World Tree magic. He's like, I'm taking this for the benefit or the Bone Kingdom. And then he does a spell called Bone Magic, Infinite Bone Swing. And I have to say, like, Bone Magic sounds just evil. Like, I swear, like, if I was there and I saw this guy had Bone Magic, I would have been like, when he was a kid and he started showing off his attribute, he got his grimoire. I would have been like, oh my god, that guy's gonna grow up to be evil. Like, cause Bone Magic, like, oh man, like that just reeks of being evil. But there's something interesting about here, and I kind of touched upon it in the last video that I made about Black Clover, and that was, they said they were here for a certain arcane magic knight, and like I said before, like they kind of hinted at that they were after because of the whole parallels they were talking about royalty, and how the Dark Triad, it was probably the Dark Triad who was the ones that took over the kingdom and everything. But now it seems like they were after William Vangeance. But the thing that was very interesting is that they were looking for him for his World Tree magic, but they didn't know what it did specifically. Like, they weren't entirely familiar. They were just familiar probably by like word of mouth, which brings me to think that they don't know everything. They're not really all that well informed. They just know enough. And I feel like they want his World Tree magic for something specifically. Just one thing is specifically in their plan. But also the other reason why I'm also thinking maybe it's not the World Tree magic that they're after. Because several chapters ago, right before the arc started, they were looking into demons and devils and all that. And one thing that kept popping up is that curses, like the one William had, like the one I forgot what her name, Charlotte from the Blue Rose Knights, and Noel's mother, they were cursed, and those curses were from forbidden magic, and they had some connection to devils and demons, especially the curse that killed Noel's mom. It had a connection to the big bad that's in charge of the Spade Kingdom right now. So I'm wondering if it wasn't so much that they were after his World Tree magic, but more about the source of his curse. I think that might be something to consider. Just keep in mind, maybe that's the reason why. Like, it has something to do with a curse that William Vangeance is afflicted by. And another thing that I want to also bring up is that since they're there after William and not maybe they're not aware about Yuno's royalty. Maybe they haven't connected the dots that is the long lost prince of the Spade Kingdom. And I think that might actually play out in the next chapter. I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't. Kind of hoping like they keep that vague until they build up to that. Yeah, Yuno's there. Like when they're in like the middle of a big battle, and they're like, "Oh, what do you care? Like, why are you fighting?" And finally accepts his royalty set and says, "Because even though I'm a citizen of the Clover Kingdom, I am the prince of the Spade Kingdom, and I will protect my people." Something like that. I feel like that would be a lot more epic. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking that maybe they don't know about Yuno's heritage. They don't know everything. So after that, it cuts back to Yuno arriving at the Golden Dawn base. And he gets there and he just sees everybody has been taken out. Everybody. And we just see, again, Darkness Apostle just turning around looking at Yuno with that evil smirk in his face, says, you arrive too late to witness this showdown. And Yuno just like immediately goes into his, like elf form slash self form, where he just goes, "You, my comrades, what have you done to them?" And it feels like, it's about to go down. And as I'm looking at that panel, like I'm wondering, where's the other guy? Where's what was his name again? Where is the Dark Disable? I really hope that's not his name. Yeah, but where is the other Spade Kingdom mage? He doesn't look to be in that panel. I wonder if he's off doing something else. But yeah, like that's where the chapter ends. It ends with getting angry and getting ready to fight. I'm really hoping for an epic fight scene. I kind of don't, but again, knowing how sometimes these shonen mangas go, they might jump back to Asta. I'm hoping they don't, but that's a possibility. And of course, after that, there was like this little gag page, funny thing, where they're playing pin the ice in the forward the braid on the nocel, and Asta does it backwards. Magna does it just right, and then Noel puts the braid as a beard, and we just see Captain Yami just laughing at that. It was a fun little thing to and something on a lighter note on this pretty dark chapter. Okay, so anyways, that is all I have to say today about that chapter. What do you guys think about this chapter? Did you like it or not? Leave your comments and thoughts down below. Once again, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe and notification button so you don't miss any of them. Once again, thanks again for watching, and I will see you all next time.